regular meeting of the Lafayette Township Board of Trustees and Fire District, It's Tuesday, March 17th, 2026, 7 p.m. Roll call.
Balahe,
Kittle here.
Paroli here. If everyone would stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the first agenda item that I have on the agenda for this evening is just a resolution formally confirming the appointment of a successor to fill the vacancy of the office of Lafayette Township Trustee. As everyone's aware, Nick Kittle was appointed by motion of the board at the March 3rd meeting. He was sworn in by County Prosecutor Forrest Thompson on March 5th. This isn't actually, but this is the first regular meeting since we've had that. So I would make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-28, appointing Nick Kittle to the remainder of Stephen Demonsky's term until the election in 2027.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Balahe, yes.
Kittle, yes.
Paroli, yes. Next on the agenda, we have the consent agenda with the 3 meeting minutes from the regular meeting on March 3rd, the special meeting for the budget workshop on Saturday, March 7th, and also the special meeting for the budget workshop on Saturday, March 14th. Did everybody get a chance to review those minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And then, just so that we get these done, if we could get everybody to sign these. While we're doing that, the next item is service report. Mr. Lawton.
Hello, everyone. Service report is, as far as the section that pertains to the roads, we perform weekly road inspections. Plowed snow and some of the township maintain roads along with the village of Chippewa Lake roads. Ben and I attended the monthly safety council meeting here in town. We assisted with the setup for the polar plunge at Chippewa Lake. In addition to, we removed 3 dead deer, 2 were on Ryan Road and 1 was on Coon Club Road. As far as under the equipment section, we performed repairs and maintenance on to the township equipment. Washed snowplow trucks. Picked up our new Max snowplow truck from Judco Equipment here this month. We had taken the Ford 650 dump truck over to Chuck's Custom and had the snowplow frame repaired. Under the building section, kept the repair garages and town hall clean and stocked with supplies. Under the cemetery section, we performed 1 burial at the Wall Cemetery. Under the parks, we just removed some debris and emptied garbage cans. And under the section I had for action points here, I'd put down it as far as for the board, as far as discuss selling that Ford 650 that we have, since we're not using that any longer. I was hoping that maybe we could get rid of that and perhaps put that, use that funds towards buying a new truck, replace the other Western Star. And the other action point I had discussed ordering another new Mack plow truck, as I just said. It'll take up 2 to 3 years to end up receiving it. I spoke with the Mack dealer salesman here last week, and he had said if we were to order something, relatively soon, that would be 3rd quarter, that would be finished.
Of this year?
Yeah, and it would just be a matter of sending it to whichever shop we decide to send it to, as far as, having the snowplow equipment added to it, and hydraulics and the dump bed mounted, and strobe lights and all that kind of stuff. And last item I had on the action points was just possibly discussing the purchase of a wood chipper at some point. Be awful handy to have, we keep having all the storm damage, and it's making it tough the future is to try to do some more, you know, tree removal in our road right away, because there's so many of them. And, obviously, we're gonna have to hire tree companies at some point to do the big trees around high power lines, but the smaller stuff, the road department myself ought to be able to handle. But, that's all I had for my report, if there's any questions. Ty?
Hey, Matt, did they put out the bid for those 3 roads that you wanted to get done?
For the chip seal?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That was supposed to have gone out. We got all our paperwork turned in, yes. I'm glad you brought that up, because that reminds me. You know, we had the budget meeting there Saturday, and he asked me if I had any big projects coming up, and it slipped my mind. As everybody knows, there's that construction the Medina County engineers is having done on Lake Road, taking that curve out, and when we had, Carrie, you might remember when we met with Angie there this winter, talking about that Ballish Road project and chip seal and stuff coming up, she had made the mention, I guess Rick had inquired about it at one point last year, as far as that those 2 roads over there in that curve, there's a walnut and then there's an overlook drive, and they're like, you know, a little 1 lane wide, and they're getting kind of pretty tough shape. The suggestion that the county engineer's office had said was to see who's doing the paving project over there for the county and ask them, you know, since they're out, you know, what it would cost, you know, to have them just pave those, put like an 1.5 inch lift on those 2 roads. They're really not in good enough shape to be tar and chipping. They need a bunch of patchwork and reshaping. That's why she had the county girl made the mention about just having the paving company do those, since they were gonna be in the neighborhood, and they wouldn't have to make a special trip. I spoke with the county this week, and, from what I gathered, it's gonna be, Crossroads, Asphalt is gonna be doing part of that work up there. And, I spoke with the guy, sales rep, job estimator, I guess he is. I spoke with him, yesterday, and he's supposed to be getting a hold of me this week to get some prices put together, so I can present to you guys in the near future.
Okay.
But that's all I had on, yeah, it reminded me when you asked about the chip seal, but, yeah.
Hey, Matt, if you do that, I think that's a great idea, cause it's gonna save the township a ton of money, but you may think about ditching those roads with your equipment first. We can't afford underground for that, but those residents do have water issues coming from the road. So if we could ditch and then have whoever, the paving company come in and raise it 1.5 inches or 2, it would greatly help those residents down there.
Yeah, there's definitely a need for some drainage over there. I mean, and, you know, that's kind of one of the, I was asking Ben about it, you know, are there any ditch enclosures in there? And I don't think there is.
No.
You know, they're just driveway upon driveway and yards, and I don't know how that's gonna, you know, that'll definitely be something that'll have to be addressed and looked at, because, you know, some of those houses are really close to the road, and putting ditches in there probably isn't gonna be favorable. If I had to guess, it would probably be a ditch enclosures that would have to be installed all the way down here with catch basins. And I believe you're right, water's a problem, it has nowhere to go. And the road's falling apart, definitely. I agree. Anyone else? Yes,
Has
sir.
these road projects gone out to bid yet, and bid's been awarded?
The tar and chip that Ty just asked about, that was going out for bid, that was getting put in the newspaper. I think the county got those in the paper. So yes, those are going out.
But they haven't been awarded yet.
No,
How do you know the company that's gonna do it then? Did you just get the name of a company?
that is for the county's project, as far as over on Lake Road there. It was just a recommendation to them to check with, because, until we get a price estimate, the county had said that project, you know, doing Walnut and Overlook would actually fall under the threshold that we wouldn't have to put it out for bid. She was guessing. Now, obviously, if it does go over the threshold, then we would have to, you know, put that out for bid also. Anything else?
Good. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Next up, we have zoning.
Well, our zoning permits, for March so far, we've only had 8 permits, and, no new homes, which is unusual. But, we're just getting into the, building season, of course. In February, we had 6 permits with just 1 new home. Nothing unusual right now in the building permits. It's just kind of still winter time, I guess. So I don't know that I can report anything else.
Excellent. Any questions from the board? Thank you, Tom. Lieutenant Markham?
We had 347 total incidents for the month of February. Some of the highlights, 152 vacation watches, 31 fire department or EMS assists, 11 non-injury crashes, 2 injury crashes, 3 fraud or identity thefts, 8 vehicles in the ditch. You can probably guess what weekend that was. 4 welfare checks. And next, March 25th, next week, is the 1-year anniversary of the stop sign being put up at 162 and Ryan. And next month, we will have a report with the analysis of the effectiveness, or at least the comparison from within the last year. That's all I have, unless you have any questions for me.
Thank you. Next up, we have fiscal. Everybody get a chance to review the payroll?
Yeah.
So. For the township, pay period, March 1st through March 14th, we have payroll totaling $6,305.63. I would make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then for the fire district, same dates, March 1st through March 14th, payroll totaling $27,789.59. I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second that as well.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Stop it. Sorry about that. Then we have the warrants on the township. So, let's see. Everybody get a chance to look through those. The only, I had, one question, and I know Sherry's not here, but we have an invoice from Sedgwick for 1805, and they are basically a third-party administrator that's, helps us with our Bureau of Workers' Comp plan. The invoice isn't due until July 1st, I believe, and I think it's worthy of a discussion, or at least a review. It's $1,805 is our annual amount. Not 100% sure we get $1,805 worth of value for it. But I think, like I said, again, the invoice isn't due till July 1st. So I think unless anybody's got an objection, I would suggest we pull this out, kind of just take a look at it, make sure we are actually getting something of value in return for this before we
Makes sense.
expend funds, so.
That one came up in our budget meeting, didn't we? We talked about it,
Yeah.
and said, yeah.
Exactly, so I'll pull that off to the side so we don't sign it, and that would change. So we're gonna be at, $5,148.99 on the checks. And for a total of $86.34.13. So I would make a motion to approve electronic warrants 95/2026 through 100/2026, and then checks 37757 through 37776, holding off on 37768, which is the Sedgwick check, totaling $8,634.13.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright, and then on the fire district side, we had electronic warrants, 173/2026 through 176/2026 totaling 7,203.88. And physical checks 2169 through 2173 totaling 1,483.02. For warrants totaling 8,686.90. I would make the motion to approve.
I'll second. Go ahead.
I'll
Terry
second
seconded.
it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Alright, and those passed. The next item I have on here, obviously, we've spent the last 2 Saturdays working through the budget, for both the fire district and the township. We talked about at the close of our session on Saturday, just needing to double check, because we did kind of reappropriate, you know, we talked about maybe appropriating money differently to track funds differently, and we knew that, you know, depending on what's already been dispersed.
Yeah.
You know, so, based on the way that Sherry's been writing the checks for the health insurance reimbursement, she's been doing everything out of the same medical hospitalization line.
Okay.
So we had originally talked about breaking that up, and it's gonna make more sense to just do everything through that. So the adjustment would be, instead of 17,000 and 30,000, just put the full 47,000 in medical and hospitalization. She had already made a payment out of motor vehicle license tax. We weren't gonna appropriate any money out of there, but there's already a bill that was paid out of contracted services. So I took $100 out of the corresponding road and bridge fund. So total appropriations didn't change, again, just a $100 offset. Did the same thing with operating supplies. There was we needed to take $1,000 out of operating supplies on road or bridge. Well, yeah, take it out of there and put it $1,000 into the operating supplies in, oh, I'm sorry, out of other supplies and materials, field service. We were gonna zero that one out. She's already paid some of that out of there. So, yeah, 2031, 334.20 was originally 50.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Make it 49 and add 1,000 to 2031, 334.90, 56.45. We were gonna zero that out.
Okay.
So again, doesn't change the total appropriations. The only thing that we need to do that'll adjust the total appropriations is we didn't account for the Judco outfitting of the Mac that we just received. So we probably should, she paid that out of road and bridge repairs and maintenance. So we should probably add an additional $90,000 to that to cover that expenditure. We were originally only gonna appropriate 35, but we already spent more than that out of that fund.
Yeah, so you said raise that to 90?
I would raise it by 90
By 90,
to
so
125. And that's because when we were going through the budgeting process, I mean, obviously that wasn't an expense we were talking about for this year, but it has actually been dispersed this year. It was a prior purchase or prior commitment that was made.
Right.
So that would bring total appropriations for the township to $1,808,637.44.
1,808,637.44.
Yep. And then that would wind up being resolution. Yeah, 2026-29 on the township side. So I would make a motion to approve permanent appropriations for the township in 2026, resolution 2026-29. And exhibit A will be, this is what we just discussed, will be the actual appropriations. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Faval, yes?
Kittle, yes?
Paroli, yes. And then we went through the exact same thing on the fire district side. The only issues or potential issues we have on there was contracted services in the general fund 22360. We've already had expenditures this year, so we would want to set that at 10,000. Chief did a pretty good job of pulling the budget down tight. I'm not really sure where we had, when we completed the process, we had about $160,000 kind of buffer between revenue and what we appropriated. So I'm not sure, there's 3 small adjustments that I think we need to make to what we had originally talked about. It would basically increase what we had planned on by $21,500, but still leaves us about $140,000 under.
Yeah, I thought we were at 140.
So it was 140, then we're down to probably about 120. Is that,
Yeah, 139, 349 is what
Okay.
the
so we'll be at 118?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just operating supplies, some of the funds that we had talked about potentially not utilizing, there's already been disbursements out of them. It's, again, contracted services, operating supplies, and improvement of sites on the fire district side.
Okay.
And then that would bring our total appropriations for 2026 to $1,723,900.93. And I've got, that would be, resolution number 2026-14 FD, a resolution adopting permanent appropriations for Lafayette Township Fire District for fiscal year 2026. I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Millar, yes.
Kittle, yes?
Corolla, yes. Alright, I think the next item on here, trustee Villar, you had mentioned potentially needing an executive session?
Yes, please, yes. So I make the motion to go into executive session under the ORC of 121.22GI on considering the employment and dismissal of a public employee.
Okay, I'll second. Roll call.
Kittle, yes?
Millar, yes.
Corolla, yes. Alright. It is 7:21. Okay, it is 7:47, we are out of executive session, no decisions were made. The next item on the agenda. Under correspondence, I did get an email from Jeremy Cinco, with Medina County Sanitary Engineers. We had talked last year about the expansion of some fire hydrants on Deerview. They did not get around to doing that, but he did say that, they do have it scheduled and should be done by the end of summer. So the county was, when they originally put the water line in on Deerview, they never put any hydrants in.
Okay.
So we identified that last year, County Commissioner Aaron Harrison helped out, and, sanitary engineers are gonna be taking care of that this summer, so.
No cost to the township.
No cost to the county, taking care of that. Under unresolved business, trustee Villar, did you get anything additional on the official meeting recorder, or are we still waiting on the prosecutor's office there?
I did contact them again to sort of push it further, and they said they are nearly finalising it.
Okay, so we're still waiting on the
Yeah, still
prosecutor's.
waiting,
Okay.
yeah.
And then we've been pending the handbook, we'll get to that, there've been some other things, but no updates there either?
No,
Okay. And I sent you guys an email, we've been talking briefly the last couple meetings about possibly doing some reserve funding studies. Again, I don't wanna necessarily get real deep into the conversation tonight, since I just sent you guys everything. And, I've been doing some preliminary research to see if there's anything that we can get as far as potentially some state or federal grants to help with that. Probably a long shot, but the idea being, again, like we talked about the last couple meetings, and then we talked about through the budgeting process. One of the things that the county budget commissions are gonna be doing going forward is really scrutinizing your balance on hand at the end of every year. And one tool that could be helpful in helping us, justify, hey, we need to keep reserves for those long-term expenses that are come up, instead of just vaguely saying that we know we're gonna have them, right? Eventually, you're gonna have to replace a roof or a furnace or this or that. Having an actual study done that can help assess the current status of all of the buildings and potentially the vehicles, can help give us, kind of an independent analyst's opinion on what those are, and help us build out, reserve funding accounts and those types of things. The original proposal we have, and again, this is just one of them, but it would be a little under $10,000, like $9,800 total and that would be, our full complex down at the town hall, all buildings, fencing, lighting, all that kind of stuff, same up here, and then all of the vehicles for both the township and the fire district. So, just something to review, and we can, discuss in more detail at the next meeting or two. Health insurance, we've got the renewal coming up. did you get a chance to talk, I know, we've been talking for probably about the last year, we've had another agent that's been discussing potentially helping us shop the plan. One of the things that we did in the past, like we did last year was, anybody that's covered under the health insurance plan for the township, needs to fill out Form Fire each year to help shop the plan. So I guess that's the first, I guess, step is, I did talk to Frank Harmon today, who's our current, insurance broker. They can get Form Fire open so that the, employees that are covered can get that completed. Once we do that, if we would like, he can then, we got our renewal notices. The renewal, was a 4.21% increase. So statewide, that's a very good increase over competitive. It's very competitive from the increase standpoint. However, that's just the current insurance provider, right? So we don't know, we haven't shopped it against other providers to see what else is out there. By completing the Form Fire process, we can then have the administrator of our plan, which is Sherry, open it up, and if the other broker wants to then try to shop and get us competitive plans, they can go through that process. Our renewal date's May 1st, so again, if we get this opened up and get all of the employees to fill out, the medical questionnaire over the next probably week to 10 days, we should be able to get not only Frank to make sure that this plan's the best, or one of his other providers can maybe give us an equal plan at a better cost to the township, or we can actually open it up to other brokers as well, because that's what that health survey allows us to do. So if you guys are okay with that, I'll work with Frank on getting that open. We'll get the employees to fill that out, and then Scott, you should probably talk to Scott in the next couple of days. Oh, you did? Okay. So he would like to have the opportunity to shop and see if he can do that for us. I don't know why we wouldn't.
So
Do
he
that.
can shop it without us switching agents?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. We do not have to do a broker change in order for him to shop the plan.
Okay.
I also don't think it would be prudent for us to do that. I mean, that's the beauty of Form Fire, right? Once that information is in there, any insurance broker
Can
out there,
shop it.
they can do that for us, and if they wanna win the business,
Yeah.
they can try to give us a better plan. And then, if he comes to us, or another broker even for that matter, can come to us with a better proposal, then we do the agent of record change, if it's with the same insurer, or we just go with a whole new plan
Absolutely.
altogether.
Yeah, I say we get the Form Fire going.
Okay. Alright, that's it for unresolved business. New business, cemetery sexton. Trustee Blair, did you wanna take that?
Yeah.
The Form Fire. Okay.
So with the departure of our previous service director, that left the township without an official appointed sexton. In a conversation with our service department, it opened up the opportunity for one of them to step in. For those who don't really know what a sexton's role is in our township, we have a statutory requirement that we maintain any active cemeteries. That being said, because we do, that means we have to have the record keeping for it. There's a lot that goes into it. As an overall, you're selling plots, you're selling and documenting out and mapping out our cemeteries. You're also then attending the burials. They dig the holes and then they register everything on our UAN, sorry. So the question came up then with our service department as to who would like to fulfill the role of it. Matt has declined it, and the opportunity came to Ben then to take the role on. So Ben did submit to us as a board a letter of interest to be our sexton, which came to us a week ago now. I can't remember when it was now. Do you want me to read it?
No, you don't need to read the whole, I
okay.
mean, if you want to, you can.
No,
but-
no. So what came into question then is, given that it's the difference in it, because it doesn't fall under the general service department's job role, and it's outside of what Ben normally does, Ben has asked for a payment, if possible, for it differently. Now, on reviewing it and talking to Ben after he submitted this, we had a long conversation about it. And we reviewed the payment idea, and what we came up with between us is a stipend fee that he could be paid annually, and an agreement being $1,200 a year, which would be $100 every month. which, given the amount that we have coming into our, on the cemetery side, and to give a little context as well for our, how many burials and plots we have. So the UAN goes back to 2015, but what I pulled the data from was from 2020 to 25, and in that time we've sold 31 plots, we've had 18 burials. In 2026 alone, we've sold 2 plots and 2 burials. So statistically, we don't actually have that many on a yearly basis, but we've managed to, in 26, we've managed to wipe that off and change the data quite quickly. Going forward, Ben has really sort of taken it on the mapping out, understanding the cemetery side of things, and really getting in on the UAN. It took a little while to get him onto that first, and to get back into it so he could work it. I don't know how any of you feel about Ben being on it, or your thoughts on this.
Well, I think it's definitely very important to have the appropriate records and to have a dedicated person to handle that is, I think, important, so the responsibility falls on one person. And if Ben's willing to do it, I think that's a good start. So what that really comes down to is compensation, what's it worth?
Yeah, no, 100%, and, you know, just for some context, every township kind of does it a little differently. You know, a lot of it depends on what roles. I mean, our service department already does a decent amount of, you know, the maintenance and the upkeep. You know, some places, depending on how big or how active their cemetery is, you know, they have like a full-time sexton that just handles, they do everything, including, you know, the maintenance and the upkeep and everything like that. You know, so obviously it's a little bit different setup here, whereas, you know, the additional responsibility for Ben's gonna mostly be the paperwork and the record keeping piece of it, because a lot of the stuff's already done. You know, I think, you know, that's a very fair estimate, you know, of, I think Ben's doing us a solid, you know, at that. The question would be is like, were you considering paying it out like on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, an
On
annual?
a monthly
payment
basis,
Yeah.
because obviously, one thing we don't know is we can't predict when someone's going to pass
Sure.
away. So he would be receiving calls outside of normal working hours.
Potentially, yep.
So by having this standby stipend on a monthly basis, which is separated from his actual salary,
Right.
Pay, he would get an extra $100 a month based just for this.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. So you're making the motion to?
Yeah, so I'd make the motion to appoint Ben as our sexton on a stipend of $100 per month.
I'll second.
All in favour?
Aye?
Aye.
Okay. I did put together a resolution for it,
Okay.
just so we have it. It's quite long. It does, here's yours, Nick. What I put within it though is the expectations we have for Ben on this, asking his administration side of it to make sure that Sherry receives the documents in time and the payments in time, operation standards that we have, and documentation and compliance on that side of things, so that he's clear as well as to what it is, and it also has that $100 per month in it as well, that we can review.
So I know we just did the motion, but
I
so
know, yeah.
you would?
I thought because it's obviously a formal.
Yeah, no, that fits with what we've been doing,
We're
so,
doing, yeah.
for sure. So you're making the motion?
Yes. So I will make the motion for resolution 2026-30 as the appointment of sexton for Ben Miller.
I will second. Roll call.
Bala, yes?
Kittle, yes.
Paroli, yes. Thank you. Next on there is constituent communication and email handling.
Yeah, so I think could
Yeah.
ask to have this added, you know, from time to time, we'll receive an email from the public or a request. And being new on the board, I don't know who handles what, so, I understand we're all liaisons to different service areas, and I think that whoever, like, if a fire and police come in, I should handle that typically. But to take it the next step further, I think when we get a response or a request, we should just reply to that email, and just say, hey, I got this, I'm gonna take care of this, or I will address this. That way, we're not duplicating efforts, you're not working on it, I'm not, or we're not both working on it if it's,
Well, the only thing I would say is like, just, well, I guess first thing, since we never really addressed it, and we probably should, like, I guess we're just, the liaison positions,
Yeah.
you're good with
it's fine.
fire and, cause I guess we just kind of assumed
Yeah.
you would just take over for what,
It was an open position,
okay,
I'm fine.
and you're
Yeah,
fine with it,
I'm
okay,
fine with
alright.
it, yeah.
So then, as a kind of a background with those, kind of emails and contact us forms, the way that we've kind of unofficially always handled those is they would come in and, you know, I guess different board makeups are different. Sometimes it was always the administration, the admin assistant that was on there, so Kristen was always getting those. And then it was either like the board chair, or sometimes it would be everybody on the board, like it was never like a formalized process. And Kristen a lot of times would handle the things that were just, you know, that she could easily handle. Sometimes they're just like questions and stuff like that, makes things easier. And then, you know, it would kind of work as like, you know, either the chair would handle stuff that was kind of like, you know, general or whatnot. And then, like you said, right, the liaison maybe would take it. The only thing that I wanna be careful of is at the same time too, if like somebody, like if a resident reaches out to the board, you know, it's not that we don't like, I get the idea of not duplicating efforts, but at the same time, if a resident has a concern and they wanna talk to you and me and Carrie, or just one or two of us, like, we don't wanna create a situation where any of the trustees feel like, you know what I mean, like, we're all independent officials, right? So it's not, the liaison things keep communication clear, especially internally, so that the department heads have somewhere to go with. But like, if a resident has an issue with zoning, right, they don't have to talk to me. They can go to either one of you if they want to, or whatnot. So, I'm perfectly fine keeping it like informal. I don't know if you wanna do like a formal process flow for these communications. I just don't ever wanna step on anybody's toes and say like, because it's
Yeah, well,
my
if
department.
the request is directed to one of us, then.
Sure.
No matter what liaison we are, or what service area we support, you should address it at some level. But I don't want all three of us to reply to the same email.
No, I think what came about though is we had a glitch in our website recently, and what ended up happening is the contacts were coming in, but we didn't see them. It came about, so Kristen fixed the glitch, and then automatically came all these different
We had a
inquiries
couple,
come in.
yeah.
So and she sent them as a bulk load to us and said, hey, these just came in because we fixed the glitch, off we go. I picked out different ones of them and just said, hey, I've taken this one and this one, that was it. And then Nick was like, well, hang on, you know, and so that's why this came about. So I think the idea, like you're saying, is you know, not to cross over. Sometimes though, like yesterday I had a phone call who wanted a zoning thing. I had a nice conversation with her, but I passed it over to zoning. Maybe if we're having emails that we CC in all the trustees, but we probably have to put something in there to say it's not for discussion, and then the other trustees can't reply to that one, that chain, because of crossing over into that.
Yeah,
It's like a fine line, isn't it?
I think if we're gonna do something like that, it probably makes most sense to take Nick's idea of like, the form comes in, and like, we can internally, like, just whoever, hey, I've got it, so that we know the residents being responded to.
Yeah.
And then if the other trustees wanna reach out as well, there's no
That's it,
reason
there's no
that they
reason to,
can't,
yeah.
depending on what the situation is. Cause sometimes, again, it's tough to foresee every possible thing that might come in, but sometimes it's something that you're not necessarily gonna resolve. It's just a resident that's got a concern that we should each individually be aware of.
Yeah.
And so there's a reason for us to each reach out, but I do like the idea of like, so that you're not seeing the email going, hey, did anybody respond to this person, whereas,
Right,
You know,
the
hey-
last thing I want is somebody
Yeah,
to
yeah.
send a request in
And
and
nobody
nobody
gets to
responds.
it.
Yeah.
so I think if we just keep it fairly informal, but as the three of us, we kind of work with the idea that like one of the three of us will just kind of respond not necessarily with the resident in
Right,
copy,
just
but
us.
just internally, so that Kristen
Yeah.
and the three of us and Sherry, you know, depending on what the request is, knows that it's being handled, and then just handle it out there, cause to your point, we don't wanna be starting group emails
Yeah,
with the trustees and residents and stuff
Do you
like
want me to see if I can get, cause the problem was when it migrated, that was the issue, like I don't know what Civic Plus did to not make it go to anybody.
that, right?
But, so like before we had it, it went to everybody in one email, which
That
made
would
it,
be way nicer than what
Yes.
it's currently doing.
so
where they're all
what
coming
I
individually.
currently did, what I could figure out on the back end, the problem is because they have all kinds of like little training videos online, it's hard to get an actual person, but I'll try and email that lady to see if there's a way
You could
we
do
can.
that, the other option would be, we might be able to work with, KGC and just get an email, like, either like an email or a distribution
Oh.
list set up,
Yeah.
so that the Civic Plus form could go to that, and then that would kick it out to all of us. So
That'd
we would
probably be
see it.
easier than.
Probably than
okay.
trying to mess with, you know,
yeah.
yes,
Okay, I got it.
All
I'll
right.
fix it.
excellent.
That way you can just reply to all of
To
us.
that group, yeah.
Yep.
I got it, or whatever,
yeah.
and then we all know, and then you can just reply separately to that resident,
Resident, yeah,
so that we're not getting, you know, your bazillion.
exactly.
Alright, and then the last thing we've got under new business is leadership Medina County.
Yeah, so Chief Kavanaugh requested to, line-
Before you start, Nick,
Oh, yeah.
I am gonna recuse myself on this because I'm actually on the selection committee for this and a
Okay.
number of other committees.
Okay.
So it's up to you guys, okay?
Okay. So Chief Kavanaugh requested to be enrolled in the signature class for Leadership Medina. I fully support development and
Mhm.
training, and I think this would be a good opportunity for Chief Kavanaugh. The cost, I believe, is $3,750.
$3,750 for the year.
We have 5,000 set
Yeah,
in for training for the fire department.
We do have a training, I have two concerns about it, right? Cause I agree with you 100% on, you know, training, you know, we look for opportunities, whether it's going to, you know, different things with the firefighter, you know, with the Fire Chiefs Association and different, you know, workshops or seminars and stuff like that that are kind of focused on fire service or the EMS, EMT services. But this is more of a, kind of just a general leadership networking type thing. I'm having a tough time understanding how this is gonna make him that much more effective as a chief. And then not only when you factor in the almost $4,000 of cost, but it's 13 days over the next year that he's not gonna be here working in the department, he's gonna be, you know, I just have a tough time seeing how this makes him a better
Ask
chief.
Lieutenant Markham about it,
You gonna put him on the spot like
how
that?
he worked it.
I did go through leadership and, so did all of our administrators at the police department. It's been beneficial because it is a lot of networking, you develop a lot of contacts with the different businesses, with all kinds of people throughout the county, and we feel that it's beneficial to us. You asked, so I gave the opinion.
Alright.
As far as being away, he could, you know, we were still subject to recall for an emergency or something else, that you can leave, everything is done within the county, with the
Okay.
exception of one event at the
Okay.
end. So,
Deadline to apply is the 15th.
Is that April? I can't remember.
May
April,
15th?
May, yeah, May 15th.
Is there any reason we can't table this at least for one meeting?
Yeah, you can table it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to look at it a little bit more, just to be more comfortable with it, and also how it aligns up with the budget, because I know we just went through that whole process. The fire budget's always a little bit tighter.
Right.
And just wanna review with chief too, if there's, you know, what other potential training opportunities, so that we're not, you know, doing this at the expense of something else.
Right.
But yeah, I would like to hold off for right now.
That's fine.
Okay. And actually, you know what, I did miss one thing on zoning. Since we've been doing the formalization of everything, obviously with your appointment to trustee, you had to vacate
Oh,
your
yes.
zoning commission
Yeah,
seat.
yeah.
So we have a zoning commission seat open. We have both of the alternates now open. And then also we have Simon Bartos resigned at the last meeting. And the only alternate that we had on the BZA, well, actually, we have Kevin Hyatt, and then Joe Praisler was just moved over from the zoning commission to an alternate on the BZA. So obviously, we have a couple of positions to look at filling, but we have one, I guess, experienced person for the BZA position in my mind. Like Kevin's been serving as an alternate on that board. I talked to Joe about potentially wanting to do that, but just part of the reason for him moving over there was he wasn't sure if he could make everything.
Right.
So to me, Kevin Pyatt is probably the right person to appoint to the full BZA position. So if I don't know what your guys' thoughts on it are, that would give us our full BZA with one alternate, and then we need to get an alternate on the BZA, and we then now have a zoning commission, the rest of your term that you had to vacate, and two alternates that we would look to fill
Right.
on there. But any thoughts on making Kevin Pyatt
Yeah, I talked
the
to
full
Karen
member?
about that as well,
Okay.
yeah, I agree with what Karen said.
I'll support.
Okay, well then I have, and I guess we'll switch it, cause I didn't know Carrie was sneaking that one in.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, it's easy enough. So I have. Resolution 2026-31, a resolution appointing a member to the Lafayette Township Board of Zoning Appeals to fill the unexpired term of Simon Bartos. And that person would be Kevin Pyatt, and that term would run through December 31st, 2028. I would make the motion to approve resolution, or to adopt resolution 2026-31.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Well, yes,
Kittle, yes.
Parole, yes. Alright, and that is all I have for new business. Administrative announcements and, sorry.
So do we need to post for those other positions?
We definitely can put that up. The one thing that we've done is we have had postings up. We've had a number of people that have reached out, in the past about it, and
So
we do, we probably have, I wanna say we have 5 or 6 names right now that have already expressed interest. A couple of them have already been interviewed in the past by, the process that we've done in the past is we've had, a combination of the zoning inspector, our zoning secretary, and our board chairs, and sometimes the vice chairs, as long as we don't get a quorum on any of the boards are okay, but we've actually had them typically do the interview process and make referrals to the board.
Right.
We found that process has worked pretty well. So I don't know where your guys' thoughts are on doing something similar, if we wanna go to the pool that we've kind of already.
Yeah, I'm fine with the process. I just don't know if we need to open it up to everybody, to be fair and transparent.
We can
Or-
certainly do that.
I don't know that
Yeah.
it is a paid role, so
Yep.
I feel like we do need to
I had a
post
resident
it.
reach out to me recently as well, asking about it. I did
Well,
forward that on to Karen.
Then let's open it up. We'll get a posting for both of those, cause again, we're gonna be looking for a zoning commission, like,
Yeah,
full member,
right.
and then two alternates on that board, so we've got four
Four
total positions
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah, so I think we'll get a bigger pool.
That's fine,
Yeah.
yeah. So why don't we, I'll work with Kristen, we'll get it posted, here in the next day or two. And then I'll also, in that time, I'll reach out to the list of, like, the bank of people basically,
Yeah.
and just see and confirm that they're all still interested.
Okay,
As long as, if they're all still interested, I'm not gonna make them
reapply.
reapply, we'll just use what they've already
Yeah.
done applying, I mean,
Okay,
and then we'll go through the process of getting the boards together to potentially do some interviews.
can we put a time limit on the posting? Like,
Sure.
We have a current posting that it has an open end. I would prefer to have it posted for 7 to 10 days or something, and
We can do that, do we wanna run it through?
I think we run it to the 31st. So we're ready for that meeting as such.
Before we've only put it on the township.
Right.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
we
I
put
can
it on the
take it and
township
put it
and
off
then-
as easily
Yeah,
as you
easy,
want.
just turn it
Yeah,
on, turn it off,
yep.
okay.
mhm.
So
And
why
I mean,
don't
we
do
can
that
put a
and we'll
date,
get-
but if you just say, hey, take it off, I'll take it.
Well, we can
yeah.
ask, if we ask everybody to have their resumes in, cause if we're gonna do like an interview process, we probably won't be able to get through collecting all the interested parties and doing an interviews and being able to make a decision at the meeting on the 31st. We're probably looking at, the 13th,
Yeah.
at the earliest.
Right.
To be able to take recommendations from the board. And then also, I don't know what your thoughts are we okay taking referrals from the board like we've done in the past, or do we wanna do an interview process ourselves as well?
So the board did all the interviews and they just referred and
Pretty-
said, hey, we want this person and
Pretty much, I mean, they basically gave a, report card, kind of a, hey, this is what we like, this is what we didn't like, and they kinda gave us some guidance on that. And then the board met, and discussed those and any questions and concerns that we had. We usually brought in as many of, the people that were there, so, whether it was the zoning inspector or our board chairs into the executive session to kind of give us their feedback and answer any questions that we had. We could go that route, or we could do something where, we took the recommendations from the board and then do like hey, these are the 4 people we think you should hire. We could invite them to the meeting on the April 13th meeting.
Yeah.
And do like kind of a final, yeah, we're good, no, we're not type deal, so that we do still have a bit of an interview process, cause it is our decision, it's our authority, but,
Right.
getting that feedback from the people that are doing those
Yeah,
jobs is.
I like them doing at least the first round of interviews, I think that's a good process. I'm not sure about
The finals.
where we're at.
Yeah. Okay, well then let's work on,
Let's get some candidates.
let's get some candidates, we'll keep it posted through, do it at least through the 31st.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll do it through the 31st, and then that way, we can discuss from there
Yeah.
what the interview process looks like.
yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Alright, anything else?
Not,
No, I just,
yeah,
okay.
just trustee comments at the end.
Alright, administrative announcements and informal items. Funny pictures,
Yep.
On the 4th, right here from 10 to noon.
New costume?
And we have, the
Celebrate.
township cleanup days. Kristen, when are those vouchers gonna be available?
They don't want me to hand them out till April 20th.
Okay,
So, I mean, I have them ready to go. So they're all ready. We have them.
okay. So they can, residents can start picking them up though on April 20th.
Correct. They can have all their items ready, pick up their voucher and head right there.
Gotcha, okay,
They need ID with them.
yes.
Yes.
You just need to bring your ID.
Proof
and-
of residency, yes.
Oh, and you know what? I did, you stuck.
Oh,
Williams
did
on-
you want to, do you want a motion though to, but was that
That's-
already, no, not that, because Nick had asked about motioning to
vouchers?
approve the voucher
I
program.
wasn't sure if you needed to prove it or.
They had in the
It's
past,
Okay.
but,
We can.
I didn't know if it was already in the temporary, or in the
I think it's in
appropriation.
there.
We budgeted for it, but if you wanna make it separate, it never hurts to.
But
to
Nick
formally
had
adopt it.
just asked about it, that's
Yeah.
why I brought it up.
Alright, I'll make a motion to implement the township cleanup days from April 20th to June 19th with Medina County, is it sanitary, or what's the?
Solid waste.
Solid waste district.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Alright. And then, we do have one more that was up here, I'm sorry. Williams on the Lake for the, annual, employee appreciation Christmas dinner. We've got, December 4th from 6 to 10, approximately tentatively, and, $31.50 per person with a 20% sales tax.
They'll take,
Well,
that won't be on.
that won't be on there. So, there's a gratuity added on it though, right?
There is a gratuity, but there isn't tax.
That's the sales tax, okay. But yeah, so I mean, just, everybody okay?
So that's for this.
That'll be for this December, yeah. And we've actually already put the deposit down.
We have a
We've done it
deposit
every year.
from last year
Yeah.
still, don't we?
Yeah, well,
Applied.
Yeah, we had
Because it was-
partial because they accidentally charged us
Overcharged.
tax, but then they were like, we'll just take it off. Yeah, we figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made it right.
And
So,
it's no, December the 4th, you said?
December the 4th, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd make a motion to approve the annual Christmas dinner on December 4th.
I'll second. Oh, come on then, Nick, you go.
Nick's got it.
I'll
All
second.
right,
You
all in
go.
favor?
Aye.
Alright. Alright. I think that's everything. Anybody else got anything?
No.
Alright. Then I will open the floor for public comments. Going once, going twice, alright, I guess we have none. Trustee comments.
Yeah, I just need to inform the board that I will not be here next Tuesday, or the next meeting,
Okay.
March 31st. I had prior plans before I was appointed to the position.
Okay.
I'll only be gone for a week, but I'll be back at the next meeting.
Okay. Alright, thank you. Trustee Ballard, do you have anything?
No.
Alright, well then, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
You gotta.
No, I'll make,
I will
Gotta make-
entertain the motion.
you get it,
I'll make
entertain
a
it.
motion to adjourn.
Alright. Would you
I'll
like to second now?
second, yep.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is 8:22 and our meeting is adjourned. Alright, don't sign that one check.
Yeah, and you pull it out.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna
Yeah.